Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to episode 2 of Behind the Brand. I'm pumped in this episode to bring you behind the scenes on our launch planning process. I'm excited because every single entrepreneur, business owner, no matter what you're doing, if you're trying to build something, then you have to have a launch in your business in order to get it to as many eyeballs as possible. For the last 7 years, I've been learning the game of product launches, zoning in on how to do these launches and the way that we've been able to do them. And today I get to show you that we've been able to build a system that I believe works and you could be able to take for your business and build yours. So let's get ready to dive into our launch planning process. So I'm going to kick it off. I have some amazing folks with me today that I'm going to be introducing to you in just a minute. These are some of the key players that help MMG do what we do. But the first thing that we do in our launch planning process is establish our launch campaign strategy. What are we actually doing? So this starts off with a launch objective. The launch objective is simply a write-up of what is the objective and number 2, the outcome for this launch campaign. So simply it would be something like this. Our launch objective is to launch our Leader Theory program and to yield X amount of customers. Boom. That's an objective. All right, our outcome then becomes we want to be able to drive X amount of customers into our program, and this will be able to deem as a successful launch. So that's the first piece of the launch strategy, is just establishing your objective and then your outcome. And then once you move into those things, that begins to move into number 2, your launch goals. How we do launch goals at MMG, number 1, we have what we call our must goal. The must goal is, hey, this is exactly how much we need to make, or this launch didn't hit the mark, right? Something went wrong, something didn't go right. That's the must goal. Sweet spot, it's like, yo, we did it, man. Like, everything went well. We hit exactly where we wanted to hit it. Now we can be able to keep this thing moving. And then we got our God goal. God goal is like, yo, we did it and everything worked. We crushed it. We killed it. Celebrate. Let's go on vacation for the rest of the year. You know? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like the God goal. It's something that we just really set after to attain. So once you establish your launch goals, this now gives you the ability to move into your actual launch strategy, which is now, what is the mechanism by which you are going to launch your product? This could be a 5-day challenge. This could be a 3-day masterclass. This could be an online summit. These are some of the vehicles that you can choose to be able to drive your launch forward. Many people get tripped up on, okay, should I do a challenge? Should I do a masterclass? Should I do a summit? It really just depends on which vehicle is best for the season of business that you are in and the type of product you're trying to launch. Once you establish your launch strategy, your launch goals, you are now in place to move into what we call our launch process. All right, and I'm going to move this to Monica. She is our marketing operations manager. She knows our launches from the inside and out, and I'm going to give her the mic for her to now explain to you our launch process. Hey Monica, how you doing?
Hey Jamal, thanks for letting me explain our launch process. As you know, we break everything down into 4 phases. So we start out with our build phase, move into our invite phase, engage phase, and close it out with our favorite, our sales phase. So once we get that strategy handed off from you, Jamal, we move into phase number 1, build stage. And we really can't get started or hand this project off to our team without some really killer project management. We look at the entire project as a whole. We decide every single little bit and part that needs to be completed for this. And we've been really good about detailing out all of the steps that it's going to take to, have a killer launch. So we outline those, we put them together in our project management software, and we set due dates and deadlines that we need to stick to as a team. And then we have this celebration, this kickoff call with every single person on our team, make sure we're all on the same page and officially kick off our launch project. The build phase also includes copywriting, graphic design, landing page design, setting up all the automation behind the scenes, programming all of the emails, and testing everything to make sure it works so that when we move into that invite phase and things are finally starting to go live, that we know we're buttoned up and that people are going to have a really awesome experience. We have this secret tool that we use at MMG called our Launch Master. It is the most important document that we use in this company. It has 30 different tabs and houses every single little nitty gritty detail that you could ever possibly want to know about our launch process. And it's really helpful to have everything in one place. So there are really no questions about what's going on with our launch. So once we get everything set up and working properly, we are ready to move into phase 2, which is our invite stage. This is where we're going to put our registration for whatever kind of event we're having out to the world. We do a combination of paid ads, so Facebook, YouTube ads, and also organic outreach by leveraging our email list and also social media. So we like to have an invite test week as well, where we kind of ramp up our paid ads, see what's working, so that when we move into our official full-scale invite week, we know what to ramp up and we're not wasting money on ads that really aren't hitting. Another important part of this invite stage is just welcoming everyone who's registered for our event in and making sure that we are nurturing them and engaging them and keeping them super hyped up for our event so that they actually show up, right? So speaking of showing up, our third phase is engage, which is when we have our live event. At MMG, we usually host either a 3 or 5 day masterclass or challenge. That's what we do. You could definitely do, a 1-day event if that works for you. We do 3 or 5 day events. And again, the name of the game is to get people to show up live night after night. Typically, if we're doing a 3-day long masterclass, we are offering value Monday night and Tuesday night and Wednesday night. That final night of the masterclass is when we're going to hit them with the offer. So last but not least, we move into phase 4, which is sales. Again, our third night of that masterclass, we're going to open up the cart. We make a huge spectacle, grand event out of this. We celebrate it. We hype it up. Our entire team's involved. We're up late. We're checking the numbers. We're celebrating in Slack. It's really a party behind the scenes, and it's also a party in our community because we've set up the stage for this to just be a really big celebration and also an easy sale. People are begging us for the link to our sales page by the time that comes. So yeah, we typically leave our cart open for 3 days, sometimes 5 days. Sometimes we follow that up with a downsell to a lower cost offer the following week, maybe on Monday or Tuesday. But those are basically our 4 different phases of our launch build out.
That is incredible. I hope you guys got that, right? You just heard her break it down. I know you were like, oh my goodness, there is so much to it. And what she just gave you was a high level overview. And it's been something that we have continued to get better at every single launch. And that's one of our core values. We get better every single day. So don't allow how complex it may sound to stop you from starting. Just get started and you'll get better every single time you launch. Now, the next part of our launches that is so incredibly important, you just heard Monica break down the launch process. But guys, we could not do this alone. Like, this is not a one-man show. We have an amazing team of people that come together to make these launches happen. And Amanda, our director of operations, she's gonna break down some of the key functions of the roles that you need. Even if you're just by yourself, you still gotta play all these different roles to see this launch happen. And I have gone from it being me by myself to now having a team of more than 20 people that help make our launches a success. So Amanda, can you please give us some of the key roles and functions that make everything that Monica just said come to life?
Awesome. Yes. So you will only be as strong as the people that you have on your team in order to execute this. So I'm going to go over a list of about 10 different roles, but I've seen us do launches with 4 people, with 4.5 people, with 5 people, with 11 people, with the staff of 20 that we have now. So you can do this at every level, but I'm going to kind of go over for you what is the most ideal or the healthiest picture of what it should look like for you guys to make it through launch and not need like a 2-month vacation because you're so exhausted, right? So number one, you're going to need a launch manager. A launch manager is a highly detailed, super organized, obsessed with data driven person. This person is looking at the launch from a high level at all times. They know the numbers on the spot. They know what everybody is doing. They know when things are supposed to be happening. And they're essentially managing the entire process of launch from start to finish. They're involved in the strategy and they take it all the way to the end of full execution. Working very closely alongside with that person would be your project manager. A project manager is a person who's inside the nitty gritty details. They are assigning tasks. They are holding your team accountable. They are leading meetings. We do something called stand-up when we have launches where on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have a stand-up board where every single area of the launch has some type of space to be accountable towards. And we host these stand-up calls to just kind of make sure everybody's up to speed and on their task. So a project manager is just always has a pulse on what's happening right now. Up next, you have your copywriter. Words, guys. Words. Okay, these email sell. Okay, if we want to get snazzy with it. Okay, email sell, right? So we're constantly emailing people, making sure that they know not only when our broadcasts are, but also what the offer are. I know one of our emails that we send on open card night, it just always hits, right? So copy writing is essential. You need someone who understands the audience that you're serving, right? So just someone who knows how to write, that's amazing, but can they write to the people that you're trying to reach specifically? That's very important. Up next, you have a graphic designer, someone who's creative, someone who can visually convey the vibe, the feel of the brand. This person needs to be someone who is also very organized, as there are a lot of graphics that come up. Some of them are pre-planned, but some of them are spontaneous on the spot. You have your automation specialist. We love automation, okay? We don't have time to be sending things on the spot. We have to have things connected already. This triggers that, which triggers this, which triggers that, right? So you need an automation specialist who's ensuring that everything has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And once this triggers, it's gonna make it all the way to the expected end. Paid ad specialist. We got to run ads, guys. We spend a lot of money in ad spend. So you want someone who knows how to spend the proper amounts of money to get leads at a good cost, okay? Cost per lead is a super, super important metric that you want to make sure your ad specialist is familiar with. Up next, you need a social media / online community manager. So we kind of do social media in 2 ways. The first way is we use it to promote, to get people into the challenge. But once they're in the challenge, we also want to engage with them in our private Facebook community where we host the launch. So you want someone who knows how to get people to respond, knows how to keep people engaged, keep people excited. You also want to monitor like what's coming into that group, because you want the focus to be on the content that you're producing during launch. If this is a launch about leadership, we're not trying to talk about, I don't know, community, right? Or we're not trying to talk about something that's not in the confines of what we want the people to be focused on. So you need that social media / online community manager. Up next, y'all, and I'm almost at the end of the list, is a program manager. This is the person who is over the actual program or the product that you're offering. What does your onboarding need to look like? How do you need to welcome people into this new product that they've invested in? How do you need to give them the information to be successful? For us, it's a new student orientation. For you, it may be something different, but someone who's managing after the sale, what's happening with the customers. Customer service specialist. We know people have questions, people need clarity, people need a link, people need this, people need that. So you need a very happy, excited, kind, very gentle with their words, and patient person who is behind the scenes answering your customers' emails. And then the last thing would just be someone who's over production, right? And when we say production, people automatically think like filming a curriculum or filming a video for marketing. But what's actually happening during your live launch is a production. It's a live production. So you need someone who's living in the day-to-day details of, at this time, we go live here, then this person's on the screen, then that person's on the screen, then we play this at this time, then we have this and that. So this is your essential launch team. Again, I've seen it done with a lot less people, but if you want the healthy, most ideal team, this is a great place to start.
That was incredible. You guys, I can't stress how much it does matter in regards to you knowing your zone of genius, right? And you learning what you're best at and hiring other people to staff your weakness. And that's what Amanda just did. So I know for me, I'm really great at the big idea and the big message of who are we targeting, what's the way that we're going to disrupt them. And I can even dive a bit into, I wouldn't consider myself a copywriter, but I will say that I'm a kind of got a genius towards great messaging that I know is going to get people's attention. That's been a zone of genius that I know I stick in, and then I give away everything else because I know that other people can do other things better. And you may say, well, Jamal, I don't have the budget to hire all these type of people. Well, you don't have to hire them into your team full time. You can go find agencies that have these different positions and pay them a fraction of the cost. That's what I did in the very beginning. I had agencies that I worked with that were able to come in for a month, 2 months, and I paid them. And I was able to get them out once the launch was over, right? It's only been now that we've been able to bring people on full time and do these things at a better quality rate, but you don't need to do that to get started. So I really hope that what we broke down today helps you to better understand our launch process and how we go about executing our launches. And this episode is one of those episodes where you can take it and really make it yours for whatever product you're launching. Like I said, every company has product launches in their business, and you just gotta take the concept of launches and figure out, how do I get it in front of as many people as possible, give them as much value as possible, so that then they want whatever I'm going to offer them. The word we use in our company is you make selling superfluous whenever you do a launch right. All right, guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Monica and Amanda, for coming on with us in episode 2. All right, guys, we'll see y'all next in episode 3, where we're going to be giving you guys the real behind the scenes on our actual launch. It's going to be off the chain. All right, I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.